Listen, when this season tipped off, nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted what was about to unfold. The reigning champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, entered the 2025-26 campaign riding high. They owned the West with a 40-21 record and carried the swagger of a team that believed the league still belonged to them. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was putting up 31.8 points per night, looking every bit like the MVP frontrunner. On paper, this team looked untouchable. But basketball isn't played on paper, because while everyone was focused on Oklahoma City repeating, the San Antonio Spurs were quietly building something dangerous. And over 5 meetings this season, they didn't just compete with the champs, they dismantled them. The final count? Spurs 4, Thunder 1. That's not a coincidence. That's a warning shot to the entire league. The first clash on December 23rd in San Antonio set the tone. The Spurs stormed out of the gates and dominated 130-110. From the opening possession, the energy inside the Frostbank Center felt different. San Antonio wasn't playing cautiously. They were attacking with purpose. The ball zipped around the perimeter. Defensive rotations were sharp. Transition defense was disciplined. Oklahoma City looked stunned, and the Spurs never took their foot off the gas. The center of that storm was Victor Wembanyama. The 7'4" phenom altered everything. He erased shots at the rim, stretched the floor with confident three-point shooting, and switched onto guards like it was routine. His presence alone forced the Thunder to rethink their spacing. It wasn't just a big performance. It was a structural disruption of Oklahoma City's system. 2 days later came the Christmas Day rematch in Oklahoma City. National spotlight. Home crowd. The perfect stage for the champions to respond. Instead, San Antonio delivered another statement, winning 117-102. Back-to-back victories over the defending champs, both decisive. The Spurs outworked them in transition, won the rebounding battle, and most importantly, played without fear. They didn't look impressed by banners or reputations. They looked ready. To their credit, the Thunder finally punched back on January 13th with a 119-98 win at home. Shai was electric, carving up the defense and controlling the tempo. The role players hit shots, the defense tightened up, and for one night Oklahoma City looked like the title team everyone expected. But here's the twist. That loss might have been the best thing that happened to San Antonio. It refocused them. It sharpened their discipline heading into the final stretch of the series. By February 4th, the storyline took another turn. Oklahoma City arrived in San Antonio severely short-handed due to injuries. Several key players were unavailable, leaving a thin rotation to battle a fully loaded Spurs squad. Some critics tried to downplay what followed, but in professional basketball, you still have to execute. And San Antonio executed. The Spurs secured a 116-106 victory, controlling the game from the opening quarter. They never trailed. Keldon Johnson erupted for 25 points, drilling clutch three-pointers that silenced every Thunder rally. His shooting stroke was pure, and his confidence contagious. Every time Oklahoma City threatened to close the gap, Johnson answered. Wembanyama added 22 points and 14 rebounds, dominating both ends of the floor in ways that go beyond the stat sheet. His defensive gravity forced rush decisions and altered shot selection. Meanwhile, De'Aaron Fox orchestrated the offense with poise, finishing with 15 points and 10 assists. His pace control ensured the Spurs never lost their composure. Credit has to go to Oklahoma City's undermanned roster. They competed hard, shot efficiently from deep, and refused to quit. But San Antonio's maturity showed. They managed the tempo, tightened defensively in the fourth quarter, and closed the door when it mattered most. Zooming out, this season's series speaks volumes. After that stretch, the Spurs sat at 34-16, just 5 games behind the conference-leading Thunder. For a team that was rebuilding not long ago, this leap has been dramatic. The addition of Fox gave them a steady floor general. Young talents like Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant have flashed real promise. But make no mistake, this team rises and falls with Wembanyama at 7 feet 4 inches with guard skills and defensive instincts reminiscent of Hakeem Olajuwon. Wembanyama is redefining what's possible on a basketball court. When he scores 20 or more, the Spurs become nearly unbeatable. That's not random. That's impact. Keldon Johnson's growth also deserves recognition. He stayed through the rebuilding years and emerged as a reliable perimeter weapon. His quick-release three-point shooting makes him deadly when defenses collapse on Wembanyama. He understands his role and embraces it fully. The culture remains deeply rooted in the championship foundation laid by Greg Popovich. Even as new voices contribute, the Spurs' identity, disciplined, detail-oriented, team-focused, remains intact. They win in different ways. Some nights it's defense and rebounding. Other nights it's perimeter shooting and tempo control. That versatility makes them dangerous. Still, there are areas to refine. Turnovers against elite defensive teams can be costly. Offensive stagnation late in games occasionally creeps in. Bench consistency remains a work in progress. These are correctable issues, but playoff intensity leaves little margin for error from Oklahoma City's perspective. This series raises important questions. Even when healthy, breaking down San Antonio's switching schemes proved difficult. The Spurs used length and anticipation to disrupt Shai's rhythm, forcing tougher looks and limiting transition opportunities. Recognizing the need for additional firepower, the Thunder added Jared McCain to bolster their scoring depth, a clear signal that they understand the West is evolving quickly. If these teams meet again in the playoffs, we could witness a chess match at the highest level. The Spurs now hold psychological confidence after winning the season series. But postseason basketball is different. Rotations tighten. Adjustments come faster. Every possession carries weight. What this series ultimately revealed is simple. The Western Conference landscape is shifting. Oklahoma City remains elite, but they are no longer unchallenged. San Antonio has stepped into the contender conversation with authority. The Spurs are no longer rebuilding. They are no longer waiting for next year. They are organized, disciplined, and fearless. And if this season taught us anything, it's that the road to the top of the West no longer runs uncontested through Oklahoma City.